Welcome back to Primary Source China Investments. This week, Peng Guo and I are here with show 05. And we thought we'd talk about China tech, but we'd also add telecom. Because as most things related to putting people, places, and things into categories, the people, places, and things in those categories change faster than the categories. I mean, this is patently true with what us old heads might call tech. Recall the QQQ, right? The NASDAQ 100. That's only about 50% tech, given the new definitions. The other sectors are communication services, consumer cyclical, and a smattering of others, including healthcare, defense even, and industrials. So on the mainland, there's a similar migration. And today, we're going to be picking out the apples and oranges to make some comparisons and find the sectors that are worth your attention. Peng Guo, you often talk about this business cycle, and it's quite evident when we look at the sectors within the market that you're absolutely correct. First up, the CSI 300 is down about 5% year to date. And pure tech, the tech index on the mainland, is up about 4.39%. And we've covered this a lot this year. And we were very early in calling out the allocation to mainland tech versus just the broad index. And we've also been early and often about calling for mainland tech over Hong Kong and US listed tech, and we're going to get there. But perhaps more importantly, look at the massive outperformance in communication services, up more than 27.5% year to date. A lot of us would call these names tech, or at the very least, internet related. If we're choosing to allocate, we must allocate on China, for China, and with China. Those institutions propping up the great firewall and everything behind it is a good place. Plenty of the names that we've talked about in the past, the ZTEs, the China Unicom, the China Mobile, these are the names that are behind this particular sector. So Peng Guo, what's your thoughts about the sector and the naming, or should we even get caught up in all that stuff?
I think the market categorizes the company is lag behind the market change in China. Like you said, the content of the tech is keep changing so fast. In a word, tech area is the future of the China economy. And also, I think it is in the new phase of the future. Right now, China, they did bring the foreign technology and they examine the product, and also they learn from the different area. But right now, it's become more and more independently created by themselves, and also is cover most of the supply chain and the industry chain. So those areas show the very powerful in the future, and also bring a lot of the benefit in the China market. So especially like the telecom area, but even they have still many complaints in each industry chain, but the entire industry and the entire tech areas still grows very quickly. That is why tech stock as the leader of the next round of the market rebound.
Getting caught up in the specific sector is confusing a lot of investors, because if you say you want to invest in China tech, you often get shunted into these Hong Kong and US listed names. And I promised we'd get back to those Hong Kong and US listed names. And we talk about them a lot, and they're largely traded in MCHI and KWEB on the mainland. Recall we said pure China tech was up 4.39% year to date. KWEB is down more than 10%. And also, mainland tech has underperformed the CSI 300, which is traded in the US as ASHR. So tip of the hat to this channel for calling this out very, very early. And you can see that on the KWEB and ASHR chart, you have a lot more volatility with KWEB, and you have underperformance year to date. And recall,
KWEB definitely outdated. So it's just historically it's represented like the e-commerce related companies. That's a very small part of the tech area. I think right now it's more like the high-end manufacturing, and also plus like the e-commerce or internet related companies. definitely we should create like the true tech index.
There is this infrastructure play with, a lot of those names that we just threw up there, because those names are not going away. And recall, the Great Firewall of China is not going away either. So you have this massive, call it internet sub one, which is the world has an internet and China has its own internet. And that own internet is sucking up a lot of resources. The names of K-Web, like you say, just e-commerce, the Alibabas, the Pinduoduos, the NetEases, the Baidus, those may come and go. Those are big companies. I'm not throwing any shade at those companies, but if you want to invest alongside the China tech, the backbone of that China tech is the smarter place to look. And also, remember, even the pure China A-share tech is up more than the index year to date.
Yeah, that's true. Like Warren Buffett said, Alibaba is still the retailer, like the Walmart. Even this is a online Walmart. But
Yeah,
in China, this manufacturer is really cover 5 areas. One is aerospace related area, and the second is satellite related manufacturing. The third thing is transportation, like high-speed train. The fourth one would be like the say engineering or manufacture related area. The fifth would be AI related manufacturing area. This is 5 high-end manufacturing in China. Those one definitely need to create a true high-tech index to track it.
Yeah, a lot of those would be considered industrials or even materials right now.
Yeah,
and those are all tech driven. So I do think I agree with you. Maybe we need a new index, or maybe I'm sure there's people pumping. Yeah. Now I'm sure people are pumping out indexes and products also, but these are the kind of subtle areas. If we're just looking at pure performance this year, you see massive outperformance with this communication services. That's massive outperformance. So we're going to leave it at that for show 05. Hope you gained some insight into the nuance of the A-share market this week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.